So here I am, I'm in Odessa. No movie this time from Odessa, reason being, I came to Odessa from Moldova and I spent pretty much the entire time sick. I still am pretty sick. I've basically been here for 4 days. No, 4 days actually, 3 nights and 4 days. It's now midnight. I got a sore throat and I'm going to be getting on a sleeper train that will take me all the way to Kiev. And in Kiev, well, it's hopefully what you're about to see in this video. So I'm going to try to enjoy the journey. I'll give you a little bit of insight into the sleeper trains that basically sort of function in Ukraine. And the journey starts at 19 minutes past midnight, and I should be there by about 9:49 a.m. So it's a long journey. But yeah, it's a 9.5 hour journey. Just sort of waiting for the platform right now. This is not the train I'm due to go on, but the train should be just over here. So let's see what happens. Hopefully I'm not going to be sick on the journey. Let's see. Okay, so this is the cabin. Just put the sheets on. Lights have now come on, so I've actually got some light. So underneath me is supposedly another bed, or somewhere to sit. And there's another bed here, and there's a bed here. But at the moment, just me. So let's just wait and see. And as you look outside, this is the area where people walk along the sort of cabin way. So we don't have this in England at all. We used to have them. Maybe actually still take the sleeper train up to Scotland. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're like this, but maybe you can. So I arrived. I slept for 8 hours, which is not bad, which is actually very impressive. So the journey was very pleasant. So for 8 hours, and here I am in Kiev. Journey begins. Some perspective on the traffic and where I'm staying. Building the sign, billboard. Hey, so this is my Kiev apartment for the next few days. This is sort of typical Kiev apartment. You've basically got television there, sofas, bedroom just here. Everything you kind of really need for when you're staying in Kiev, right in the center. I mean, not the prettiest of cities, it has to be said. Kiev is always incredibly busy when it comes to traffic. And you've got to look outside and you see all the traffic. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that, but I'll certainly show you later. Kitchen as well. There's a kitchen, I can do my cooking should I want to. But the restaurants in Kiev are amazing. People don't expect from the West Kiev to have good food. If you've ever been to the Balkans, the food is a little bit average. In Kiev, they have everything. They have all types of international cuisine. Massive fans of sushi. So if you like sushi, you can get yourself some really good sushi. And all for a reasonable price. Basically, since the currency collapse, things are slightly cheaper for us tourists, even those holding pounds, which is me. Sort of standard bathroom. There we go. It sort of does the job. But yeah, no, I highly recommend staying in an apartment when you do visit Kiev over a hotel. Hotels are more expensive. There's some nice hotels. There's some really nice hotels. But just for sheer saving money, and also the fact that the apartments are nice, they're very solid, they're safe, and there's so much choice. Choose an apartment. Anyway, let's go and explore Kiev. Right behind me is the building that was burnt down during the revolution. I like what they've got advertised on at the moment. Freedom is our religion. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I have a problem with religion. I'm an atheist. I was born into a pretty religious family. My grandparents are very religious. My parents less so. Catholic, but having can you get the? I don't want. No, I don't want to. Can you take bird away? The randomness of Kiev.
Where are you from?
London, but I'm.
London. Good.
Yeah.
I collection coins, different country.
Okay.
London coins, I collection.
Okay. Right. I just got interrupted by a kid basically putting a pigeon on my shoulder. Standard procedure here in Kiev. As I was saying, yeah, I do have a massive problem with religion, especially when religion is disguised. Religion is effectively disguised in what it is as a sort of form of worship to something far higher than ourselves. But the reality is that every religion is a political ideology, especially if that religion is trying to make us change the way we live, dictate the way we live, and basically influence the way we live. I have no time for that, especially my general standpoint in politics is I'm a libertarian. The less government, the better. So when religion starts meddling in my life and people around me get affected by religion, then I have an issue with that.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!"
So just for people that haven't been to Kiev, I urge you to visit. This hill over here, or this bridge, is the hill that people were running up during the revolution when a sniper put in by what I would think was the CIA basically put someone somewhere over there taking shots at innocent people, killing countless numbers of people. Hundreds of people died here. Basically talking about this sort of demanding freedom from Russia, demanding to be part of the EU, sadly. But it's thanks to the EU that the revolution happened in the violent way that it did. And what did the EU do? Continue. It did nothing to help the people. The EU is not loved over here as much as it used to be. There used to be a lot of love for the EU here, but the EU really fucked over a lot of people. And a lot of people died on that hill over there.
Не знаю. Снайперська. Ні, це снайперська. Блін, не стріляй, урод! Розстріл.
this. Typical mall. Fast food places. Well, actually fast food places this way, fast food. And then we get here. This is fast food steak. But check this out. This is they're actually selling steak with wine to go. Quite like that.
Data's been raped off you?
It's always getting raped.
You've been raped and pillaged off you?
Constantly. How's it going, Carl?
It's going great.
Yeah?
It's superb, yeah. I'm looking forward to a nice bit of sushi.
Sushi, here we go.
All night, can't get up with nobody.
Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me.
Wanna see you work your body.
Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me.
Most a couple stacks, send it to the labels and tell them kiss my ass, yeah, come up on the track.
So I've just eaten at the pasta place just over there, Vapiano. It's a chain, I know. But this is Arena City. In Arena City, this place comes alive at night time. Could be the last week that it's live for the summer, that's for sure. Because this is an outdoor bar. It's sometimes used to be called the Moe Bar. It's now called something else. But it's basically, there's a dance floor at the back and people go to dance. But all around this place, there's a place even called the Bar. Nice swings inside. There's nightclubs on various floors around this whole complex. There's different restaurants. There's even a Koya restaurant, which is basically a rip-off of London's famous Koya. I don't think it's owned by the same company, but they're certainly trying to go by the same name. There you are. You see Koya in the background. That's it. Koya. There you go. Koya. And of course there's certain more seedy parts of it. If you look above me, there's a Harem men's club. There's a lot of strip clubs in Kiev. similar to most of Eastern Europe, but then again, there's a lot of strip clubs in the centre of London, so it's similar to all parts of the world, no big deal there. Kiev is a very civilized city. There's a lot more to it than what's really, you know, what you might perceive it to be. But yeah, this is Arena, and this is one thing I want you to notice: these exchange places. You see over here. You basically see them all dotted around. If you bring cash to Ukraine, it's a good place to get them changed. Not this place in specific. Shop around, look for the best rates. It's far better than getting cash out of a cash machine. Sometimes they even offer you to buy your dollars or pounds or euros better than the spot price. I know it seems hard to believe, but this is the one place in the world where I've seen that happen. Listen. So it's that bloody song that's basically been following me around all of Europe every single day. This song. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy playing it, talented. He's playing. He's a busker actually. But everywhere I go in 2017, I've heard this song everywhere. Stop playing this song.
Safe.
My friend, not yours.
150, okay?
7.
Heaven, yeah.
You're crazy, my friend.
My friend, go on.
There's nobody left.
What have you got?
Okay,
What's your
my friend.
negotiating cost?
140. My friend, okay? 140.
We are the last people.
What
We are the last
what negotiating have you done, Mark?
Not an awful lot.
You are shite.
Oh, you got. Oh, why did you get in the car first?
I'll find another time.
Yeah, my friend.
Americans always have the nicest embassies, I find. Every city you go to in the world, some of the best views are always at the top of hotels. This one is the Hyatt, just top 8th floor of the Hyatt, and you've got views of two of the most impressive churches in Kiev, as you just saw. Obviously, it pays if you order a beer or something, but you can just sort of walk in here if you want to. But yeah, nice view, beautiful sunshine. It's about 29 degrees today.
29 degrees, yes.
29 degrees, so nice day.
And it just fucking flies. Being a golf fan, I would rather have a golf app than a Ford Focus app, Ford RS Focus any day. But I'm not a Ford fan. I've had the Ford, I've had the Greens, it's all I would love a black one, Ford Green house.
It only takes 15 minutes. So one of my favorite places to eat a croissant in Lviv was Lviv Croissants. Since I last was in Kiev, this has suddenly appeared. I just had a croissant, probably got croissant all over me. Amazing croissants, better than anything you will find in France. If you could buy shares in a company that sells croissants, this should be the company.
Peace could not come soon enough to the battlefields of eastern Ukraine. As leaders struggle desperately to end this carnage with diplomacy, massive firepower dictates the facts on the ground, bringing conquest and defeat. But government forces are losing ground, and 75 years since World War II broke out, the fields of Europe are scarred once more by conflict.
I just walked through the first floor of the memorial exhibition, and it basically highlights everything we would have seen, basically the build-up of the Second World War, when the Ukrainians entered the Second World War, not out of choice, but because it was forced upon them as Germany invaded Ukraine in 1940. And impressive exhibition, and also attached to that exhibition is a more modern exhibition about the current war that's going on in eastern Ukraine. Obviously I spoke about the car that had just been destroyed in 2017, but this war has been going on since 2014. Many casualties. People don't speak about it too much in the West. It's mainly down to the fact that the European Union basically put the Ukraine into a situation where it basically played a game where Ukraine was faced up against the Russians, and now it's created this civil war division, and this is the consequences we're left with. Speaking of the European Union, going into an exhibition on the First World War now. So let's see the sort of decimation that sort of was caused between First World War for the Brits was 1914 to 1918, but I think for the Ukrainians it was 1914 to 1917. It ended slightly earlier for them, so lucky for them. However, they had just as many casualties, maybe even more. So let's go find out. Nice slip, Carl. There's something about Soviet countries that seems to do war memorials a lot better than anyone else. The Brits, we do it very conservatively, sort of minimalistic, but Soviets, they go all out. This is just like in Belarus when I was at Minsk. We had some impressive statues. This is a similar form, and this was made during the Soviet times, so before the breakup of the Soviet Union, and it tells this is how they like to remember their dead. They're very proud of their people. So why not remember them in an impressive way? All their war memorials are like this. What's interesting out of all the sort of pathway of statues, the one piece that has been touched the most is this gun, followed by his hands and then the guy's nose. All the rest of the statues haven't really been touched. But I think we're just coming to the end of the sort of exhibition now, and I highly recommend it. It was enjoyable, but at the same time saddening, emotional to sort of realize how many people have lost their lives during so many pointless wars, and a war that is still going on.
Ну, а как бы по прогнозам на следующий месяц вы ничего еще не видите. Слушай, эти два художника.
Surprisingly.
I don't know, there's more to be hit there, isn't there?
I'd like to be next to the big one in that mini one.
Yeah, I'm being the fastest one going.
Oh. Carl, you didn't want to go in and it costs £5. Is it worth £5, Carl?
Doesn't matter what the cost was. I just didn't fancy coming in, considering I need to see there. No, I can't read this.
Tanks everywhere. So basically attached to what is the monument exhibition over there, a lot of tank displays, old military equipment, and I really love the contrast. You've got this beautiful environment with sort of green grass You've got churches in the background. You've got the city all around you. You can hear the murmur of the traffic. I'm not sure if you can hear that on the video, but it's a sort of constant motorway murmur. And then you have these amazing tanks and artillery. I mean, just walking up the steps, just more artillery and tanks behind me. Even a helicopter, which we just seen. Nice walk, very nice walk. This is the monastery in the southern side of Kiev. What you find is a lot of people in very traditional wear, a lot of priests, I guess women of women of religion as well. All of the women you'll find are wearing head coverings. Men not wearing head coverings if they're not priests, but if they're priests, they are.
They take your photographs. I've seen them in camp with big cameras.
Yeah, so maybe subtle.
The first half of the day. Trying to get to the palace.
Nice car. Yeah. So I'm inside the monastery. This is a huge monastery, huge complex, lots of little churches. And one thing, well, I wasn't able to do properly was film inside the caves. You may have seen a sort of black image of candles walking in these cave structures. The caves, basically, the coffins of lots of, I think, saints. Orthodox saints, and it's a bit of a sort of a special place for the Christian Orthodox people. They almost make a pilgrimage of this place, and in a way it's slightly offensive that I'm filming, but I think just here is okay. But you can see incredibly peaceful grounds, very nice. The church I just went into has an old church inside, so the new church was built up around the outside of that church. But churches everywhere, and what you do see are a lot of monks and a lot of women with their heads covered. Look, even over there, the women must cover their heads. Yeah, no, that's wiring, mate. That's fairy lights.
In honour of all the Ukrainians who lost their lives in the great famines of the First World War, and due to the Soviet Union's army invading Ukraine and taking all the food from the farmers. This caused the famine. All the food was used to feed the army rather than the
So this remembers all the people that lost their lives due to the famines put on by the
basically
the war.
Yeah.
Look at this.
And
it's got bells.
all sorts.
Wow. This is beautiful.
Museum piece to go to, yes.
1946.
This was only built recently by not this president of the Ukraine, but the previous one. He instigated it all to happen so that the Ukrainians had somewhere to remember all the dead from the famine, basically, and bring to life exactly what actually happened to all these people.
And what a beautiful location! Look at this. Look, I mean, you couldn't have picked a more beautiful location next to the monastery over here, with the Dnieper River over here.
Это политика давно. Украина больше всего.
Once again, another Soviet city, or ex-Soviet city, and there is an eternal flame. You really can feel the heat coming off this one, and I'm sure once again lit by Russian gas. I like how the Soviets basically remember their dead. They do it so much grander than how the Brits do. We have the cenotaph in the middle of a street outside Downing Street. Traffic flows past that all day long. It's not exactly peaceful, but here, peaceful park. Imagine if you're trying to remember your relative. Do you want to stand in the middle of the road, or do you want to sit in a beautiful park with an amazing view? I mean, the views are phenomenal. They do it right over here. Style to it. So this is the road I've previously spoken about. This is people were running up this road trying to get up to the top of this, and there was a sniper possibly in this building, and there was a sniper in another building, and the theory suggests that the sniper was employed by the CIA, and he definitely wasn't a Russian. Donald Rumsfeld was in one of the buildings behind over here, and the revolution was coordinated by the CIA. Most of the deaths, in fact, were because of the CIA. Now, if you believe Western media, you're going to suggest that all of the deaths were because of the Russians and those friendly to Russia or Ukrainian government people. But the reality is revolutions over and over again have been coordinated in the last 50 years by the CIA, and this is one of them. And as we walk along here, these are all of the people that died and people still being remembered.
Что это уже, что здесь что-то будет происходить.
Ой, агрессии, только мирная акция!
Слава Украине!
Весь глобус.
So I've come back to Kiev for a few days. I'm using it as a sort of a hopping point to all the different cities in Ukraine. It's reasonably central. Also, I promised to meet a friend here, so I'm going to take full advantage of just sort of, having company for once, which is nice, and just sort of take it in and just try and see the bits that I've missed. Obviously, I'm not going to show everything about Kiev in this video. There's so much to see here. I mean, as you probably notice, it's a lot of tall buildings, a lot of residential buildings, a lot of skyscrapers, a lot of beautiful parks, a lot of traffic. There's a lot of traffic, sadly, in Kiev. But the underground system, if you need to get from one point to another point, if it's on the route, is very good. However, it's a little bit like Los Angeles in the fact that it doesn't go everywhere. However, it's not a bad way to get around, and it only will cost you about, I think it's about 15 cents, probably, US dollars that is. 5 hryvnias, so whatever that is at the time of you watching this, 5 hryvnias. At the time of this, it was about 35 hryvnias to £1, 30, just a bit under 30 hryvnias to a dollar. So right behind me is the Golden Gate. It's actually quite fake. This was basically rebuilt by the Soviets in 1982, although it was originally built in the early 11th century. There you go, there's me fluffing my lines again. What lines? No lines. It was actually partially destroyed by one of Genghis Khan's relatives back in the 12th century, and partially rebuilt and then destroyed again and partially rebuilt, and now what you see behind is a big church and a fortress representing the original gates of the city. Kind of fake, but it's one of the things worth seeing in Kiev. This is a tree trunk. Sometimes on TripAdvisor things just don't make sense. This is number 27 out of the 500 things to do in Kiev. Apparently this is an 80s character from some Soviet cartoon. A hedgehog made of nails. So right behind me is St. Sophia's Cathedral. Built in the 11th century, so it is incredibly old. You actually see this on the 2 hryvnia note. It is one of the 7 wonders of Ukraine, apparently, and it's quite impressive. Inside, they don't really allow cameras, but when you go inside, there's some amazing sort of wow, drawings. I'm sort of not getting the word there. Sort of illustrations on the walls. Definitely not the word. Painting, gold sort of paintings. Some very old. A lot of school children around here, causing a lot of noise. But beautiful, worth seeing, and right in the center of Kiev.
Cultură birlik.
Care să-i mărea?
Nu așa am parašau, kad mes turkui parašė daug, nes visi irgi norėjo varyti turkui.
Ты включила печку, да, все, конечно, мы поджарили свет.
So here I am stood basically underneath this sort of Baroque style amazing church, which you just saw in the pictures. You can't go in because it's under construction, but you have to pay, you can pay to go basically to see this impressive view. What you see there is the Dnieper River. And this is north, and over towards there is what they call the left bank. Now what's strange is on the maps that's actually the east side, so you'd expect that to be called the right bank. It took a lot of investigation. I had to ask multiple people why it was called the left bank. Nobody seemed to know, but it turns out that's where the leftists, in terms of their political leaning, used to live. So the left bank originates from the leftists in politics. So Jeremy Corbyn's crew, you might feel comfortable over there. Basically the left bank, whereas those on the right, we're more comfortable over here. So just a quick note, this sort of hill over here, apparently a lot of witches used to gather back in the day. Now I've noticed in Russian and Ukrainian culture they have this firm belief in witches. I've even supposedly met some witches. They claim to be witches. I haven't really seen much proof other than them claiming they've cast a spell on me. But the place the witches gather. So what you just saw there was basically a protest against the government and the corruption that's going on in the Ukrainian government. What was interesting is all the protesters were old. I think it's because they're the ones that have been massively affected by the cuts to their pensions, the fact that they are not getting inflationary increases in their pensions, and they are sick and tired of what this government has done to them. A lot of the pensioners are having to live on the breadline. I mean, walking around Kiev and traveling through Ukraine, I see little old ladies basically picking up bottles of water and taking them to water fountains to refill their water so they have water at home. They have their water supplies being cut off because they can't afford to pay it, and yet government ministers are living the good life, so no wonder they're complaining.
Так, bună duma.
Limit style mode.
Whatever he just said.
Exactly.
So, the future of food. Let's try it.
I hate this fucking song. This song sucks, but at least I've got a good view. I get to smoke this shit. But my view's okay.
No еще немного.
Hey, so so one of the things I love about Ukraine is the variety of restaurants. You can have an amazing meal in Ukraine, and well, from a Westerner's point of view, it won't cost you that much money. Hopefully that will continue. Ukraine, before the crisis, actually apparently used to be very expensive. At the moment, it's not. That could change. Maybe if you guys start coming here, that probably will change fast. So stay away. Don't come to Ukraine, don't push the prices up. However, sometimes I don't always eat in the restaurants in Ukraine. Sometimes it's nice to have some food in the house. At the moment, I'm currently in this apartment, and one of the problems I've discovered, and this wasn't just in Ukraine, this is in Belarus and as well, I'm trying to buy milk. In the UK, you can buy milk in bottles or cartons. And it's quite clearly labelled. There's milk everywhere. I think it's something to do with the fact that we drink a lot of tea with milk. But in Ukraine, it's a little bit different. The number of times I've gone to the supermarket and I've tried to buy milk, and I've come back, I've drunk it, and it's yogurt. I've even asked the people at the supermarket, is this milk? Is this milk? Even with Google Translator, is this milk? Oh yeah, here's milk. Somehow, even with Google Translator, they fail to understand me. Very frustrating, but I found milk finally. This is how milk is bought in supermarkets. Now I don't know, this is probably a really bad brand, but this was how all of the milk was sold in Ukraine. It's in bags. Now I know in Thailand you can buy basically drinks in bags, and you drink them from the straw, but here they sell their milk in bags. It's all very well storing it like this. It's nice. It doesn't take up much space, and it's fresh. So you keep it in the fridge. But that's problematic when you open it. However, at least I now have milk. It's good. Anyway, there's my little few words on milk. Okay, so an update on this whole milk situation. Because I have a bag, I had to put it in something. I put it in a cup. I then put it in the fridge, and it's frozen.
Ну, пускай жизнь будет такой же сладкой и яркой, как этот маленький предел.
We're going to stand around here all day, or are we going to fight?
Okay, here's the situation. I just got attacked in a club. And the police are not arresting the people that just attacked me. I was randomly attacked in the club. They claim they're not gangsters, but I wasn't attacked. I'm in the underground of the club, and as you can see, I'm a little bit fucked up. Not any other reason that I'm a little bit fucked up. So I'm asking the police, three cops are here, if they will arrest the people because I want to press charges. And sadly, that's not going to happen. They are refusing to arrest the people that are still in the club. Refusing. They have machine guns, but they're refusing to arrest these people.
Come tomorrow and write letter.
Okay.
Then police department ask this club video.
Okay.
Video. And then police can find these people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I know, I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, so there's the aftermath the next day from the incident. I'm on my way now to the police station because I felt the police last night did nothing. I don't know why they did nothing. They refused to sort of apprehend the people. I know the people were in the club for a while because I was in the back room, and then once the police knew they'd gone, they go, oh, okay, we'll go look for them now. Oh, it's an hour later. So I'm angry. And I am taking this further. Let's see what happens. Okay, so a slight update. As you can see, my lip is healing. It's been 2 days since the incident. In that time, I was at the police station. I don't believe the police are going to look into this. They said they will do all they can. I think that was just their way of basically telling the foreigners to, yeah, we're going to do what we can, but we're not really, just keep me happy. I've spent the last 2 days generally repairing. Most of that time has been resting and sleeping. I had a lot of bruises on my sort of lower abdomen and my back. I'm not going to graphically post them here, it's pointless. Just a warning though, it could happen in any country. Late night, once people have had a lot to drink, you go to some of the sort of seedier places, sometimes you're going to have trouble. This, to be honest, this is more likely to happen in a English town than it is in Ukraine. Ukraine is incredibly safe, so please don't let this influence you in thinking that Ukraine is a dangerous place. It really isn't. The counter to that, though, is in the UK, if you are attacked, the police will probably try and do something straight away. My experience in this country, if the police are potentially being given money by the club, they don't give a crap. However, the people of Ukraine are good people and far less violent than the majority of that you will see in the majority of English towns. You only have to go to an English town on a Friday or a Saturday night and you will see problems all over the place. I simply do not see that in Ukraine. This is a rare case. It happens sometimes, but don't let it put you off Ukraine.
Captain was
принимают эстафету.